So without further ado, I have amazing Dr. Elizabeth Whitaker, double board certified, the most amazing doctor there is, Dr. Whitaker.
How are you guys? Thank you for joining us this evening. So we're going to talk a little bit about my top 5 things for the holidays. And it's always hard to choose because there are so many great things that I try to offer you. But I think there are definitely some things that are clear winners. I think all of us have to think about smoothing the lines and wrinkles for the holidays. And my favorite neurotoxin is, I think most of you know, is Xeomin. And there are multiple neurotoxins on the market now, so it's not just Botox anymore. But what's unique about Xeomin is it's purified in a little different way. So it's only the active part that works. It doesn't have any additional proteins attached to it. And actually, Gwyneth Paltrow now, who we all know, loves things that are organic and purified, is one of the new spokesperson for Xeomin because of that exact fact. So we're very excited about that. Next on our list is, of course, injectables, because we all want to get that holiday volume where we have kind of this beautiful sweep of the cheek that I love to do, help fill in those lines and folds, and really help give that perfected, more youthful, triangular look to the face. It's just a nice refresh where we look like ourselves, but we look like the best version of ourselves, which is what we're all about at Olympus. And moving down the list, we also have sculpture. I know I've heard a lot of you talk about those pandemic pounds that we suffered through. Yes. And one of the ways that we can potentially get rid of an isolated area of fat is with warm sculpting. And what warm sculpting does is it uses a laser to target the fat cell and cool the fat cell for permanent fat reduction. So we can reduce up to 24% of that stubborn fat in a series of a couple of treatments. So that's very exciting as well. And next on the list, I believe, is one of my personal favorites, pole therapy. I myself am a pole therapy patient. I get it done about every year to 18 months. And what's unique about pole therapy is we do lots of energy treatments with radio frequency microneedling, all of which are fantastic for skin texture and for skin tightening. But what's unique about pole therapy is that it goes a little deeper, and it goes down to that layer that I tighten when I'm actually doing surgery. So it's very cool when the procedure is performed because we're actually with ultrasound visualizing your skin and seeing the different layers of the skin and seeing that all-important SMAS layer that by stimulating collagen in that layer, we get some tightness and lifting. And it's the only technology the FDA clears to say that it lifts the neck and it lifts the brow. So pole therapy is a great tool for those of us who are trying to maintain a certain neckline and jawline, or starting to develop some laxity there and want to get some improvement without surgery. So that can be a phenomenal option. Another one I've included, which I don't usually have in my top 5, but it's a great time of year for that, is CO2 laser. Because a lot of us get cumulative sun damage over the course of the summer. We also have some non-invasive ways that you can deal with that, with photofacials, with IPL, which can help reduce pigment. We have non-ablative lasering technology that you can do with no downtime. But what CO2 laser does is it's going to go down and remove some of the damaged skin, as well as heating the collagen to stimulate new collagen production. So it does require a little bit of downtime, but it's the gold standard for wrinkles in the face and lines. And really, if we want a dramatic change in texture in the skin, that's one way that we can do it. The downtime is about 5 to 7 days. So it's not too bad, but it's a little more intensive than some of the other treatments that we offer. So we have multiple offerings that you can do to help clear up that summer sun. So we are going to show you some of these things tonight, so it should be exciting, and show you some demos. And as Ty mentioned, we have multiple giveaways. So we look forward to having you join us for some treatments, which we have right around the corner.
All right, so now we're going to talk to one of my very favorite patients. I absolutely adore her. She is a VIP. She's so wonderful inside and out, and she is just an amazing person. And just seeing her transformation since she started here has been an amazing experience. And I'm just excited for you guys to talk to her today because I genuinely adore her.
And I adore you, Sky. So thank you for that wonderful introduction. That's really good. Hi. That's beautiful. Thank you.
All right. So I'm just so excited. What was your first aesthetic treatment?
The first aesthetic treatment was all therapy that I
Okay.
had here at this location, this practice.
Yes, yeah. That's great. What makes you take that first step on this aesthetic journey?
Well, I did a lot of research on therapy, and I know that Dr. Whitaker has talked a lot about it recently, when she was in front of the camera. But we were coming into 2020, and we didn't know what was ahead of us. But I knew I wanted to have some big changes, and boy, did we get some big changes.
Yeah, we did.
But I wanted to start with something that I could actually see some results, right?
Yeah.
I spent some money on things that really didn't get any results, and you and I talked about that. It's like making an investment, so do it in something that you really know you can get some results. So that was really good. I wanted some big changes in 2020, and certainly got them.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. You certainly got
Yeah,
them. You look
yeah.
amazing. As far as that goes, you pretty much answered the question I was going to ask. But how many old therapy treatments do you have, and was it worth it?
Well, first of all, absolutely, it was totally worth it. I did February, we did the full face and neck, and then I did just the lower part of my face recently, like in the last few weeks.
Awesome.
So again, that tells you it was worth it the first time. So just to maintain, I went ahead and made the investment in at least doing another part of my face.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So talk to me a little bit about your daily skin routine, and do you feel like it protected your investment?
Yes. One of the best products that I've ever been introduced to ever, and it was here, is Skin Aid. And oh my goodness, it is the best product in the world. If you don't invest in anything else, I would say invest in Skin Aid. But I drink it every day, and if I don't, I can totally see the difference. So even like cellulite and the face and everything really brightens it up and changes it. So I'm a huge proponent of Skin Aid for sure.
I need to get back on mine.
Yeah, it is the best. You can use as well. I
Okay.
use those products.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. So what areas have you treated with sculpture?
We focus really on my stomach.
Okay.
My son is 14 years old, so I still wanted to kind of come up some things that were much different years ago. So that's what we've been focused on right now. We've had 2 so far.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. When you have that stubborn fat that you just can't get rid of no matter what, but you have like you're obviously in shape, but you just had that stubborn fat.
Exactly.
And I love that it's
That's
working
what
that
we're
great for you.
focusing
Yeah. Awesome. So has your aesthetic journey affected your life?
Absolutely. And the biggest change for me is that I felt like part of me had been lost for a few years. And this has just brought back that person that I always was. And I just needed to kind of find myself. I was a little bit off on my journey. And so it's really got me back on that path and given me that renewed confidence that I lost some years ago.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And that's what this is all about. Living, like when you do something and you look and feel your best, you literally get the most out of life.
Right.
So what made you choose Dr. Whitaker and the AFAB team?
I relocated here from Chicago, and I didn't know anybody to really start asking about. So I did a lot of online research to find out who would be the best in Atlanta, and she had so many credentials, and I do believe she is the best. So I found the right person in Chicago, absolutely.
I couldn't agree more. If you could do one more treatment, what would it be?
There's so many great options here, but I would probably do all therapy for the part-time basis, probably my next step. But right now it's really about maintaining. I feel like we've done what we need to do right now. So we're just gonna like flatten the curve a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh
And
my
then,
gosh.
but yeah, down the road, all therapy for the top.
Yes. So that's what's next.
That's what's next.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you, Susan.
Thank you,
Have been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Literally killed it. We're so excited that you're a patient.
Thank you.
So we're going to walk into one of our rooms to talk to Dr. Whitaker and actually see a live demonstration of her doing a Zeman injection. All right, here we are.
Hi, everybody. How are you? So we have our patient here, Grant, who's very kindly agreed to be on camera here. Grant's 24, and what he's concerned about is the line that he's starting to develop. And we're seeing a lot more younger people who are aware of the fact that over time we develop these lines that get etched in our skin, and they really want to prevent that. So whether it's for the frown lines or the horizontal lines, as in his case, this can be a great tool to help prevent those lines from getting worse as we age. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean off his forehead a little bit. We're going to inject some Zeman. And as I talked about, Zeman is one of the neurotoxins. Botox is the one people are most familiar with. but it's different from the others in that it's purified and doesn't have any accessory proteins. And what that potentially can mean, particularly for someone younger, is that there may be a little less risk of developing tolerance to it over time. So everybody hears about sometimes the neurotoxins stop working and then you may switch to a different class or a different one. And this may hopefully be something that'll really last a long time for him. So clinically, it works about the same. They last about 3 months. So about every 3 to 4 months, people will get injected. It takes a few days to kick in, typically maybe around 5 to 7. And then it peaks at about a week or 2. And that's usually when I check it back and make sure that we love everything. You don't need to add a few units or tweak something. So I'm going to start with just cleaning off his forehead here. We always want to be clean and sterile. So I'm just doing that. And that's just a little alcohol. He's been icing to make this a little more comfortable. Okay, I'm going to have you turn your head a little bit towards me. That's perfect. He's going to do a little vibration on your forehead. That's just going to distract a little bit. And then I'm just going to come across and inject right into the muscle. You're doing great. Just going to be a series of 6. You know, it can be a little bite to it.
So we have gotten some questions in the chat that I'm going to ask you really quick, Dr. Whitaker. I've heard a lot about Zeman and that it's purified. What does that mean?
Well, it means it doesn't have some of the additional accessory proteins with it, so that it's just the active molecule. And it's not that those are bad, but they're just not necessary for it to function. And that's what's purified about Zeman and how it's a little different, but all the neurotoxins are great. We use both Botox and Zeman here because we have a lot of people who are Botoxers and have been using it for a long time and love it. It's a great product. But Zeman's my personal favorite at the moment.
Yeah, and how long does Zeman typically last, Dr.
It
Whitaker?
typically will last about 3 to 4 months.
That's awesome.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, you did fantastic. Great job.
All right, guys, so now we're going to go ahead and walk to our next live demonstration. So this one I'm really, really excited about. This is our sculpture. So you're absolutely going to love this. Woohoo! So we've got a treatment going on, guys. So this is our sculpture. Our sculpture treatments are a really exciting way to sculpt the physique, get rid of a little stubborn fat in the areas that, you know, sometimes our regular exercise regimens don't always target. So we can get a really nice contour of the body, get to those stubborn areas with a 25-minute treatment. So amazing. That's pretty amazing. Maddie is one of our amazing estheticians here. If you guys don't know her already, she's also amazing. I'm just going to ask her a few questions. What is the difference between warm sculpting and cool sculpting, and why do you prefer warm sculpting? So warm sculpting actually uses laser technology to target the fat cells, while cool sculpting uses the cryo technology to freeze the fat cells. They're both triggering an effect called apoptosis, which is essentially cell death. And so it triggers those fat cells to basically break apart and die and pass through our system naturally. So they both are similar in that way. However, our bodies are essentially, they're made to be warm. They're not made to be cooled down to the point of freezing. So with those freezing temperatures of cool sculpting, you get cellular death of other tissue as well, creating nerve damage, lots of tingling sensations and uncomfortable nature after treatment. Whereas this, you might feel sore, like a hard workout for a few days, but essentially you're going to return to your regular regimen immediately without that discomfort that the cool sculpting is definitely going to bring to you. How do you feel it?
I'm usually not even aware of it.
Okay, good. Yeah, so it's pretty comfortable. That's awesome. So how many treatments would you recommend before you can start to see results? I think it definitely depends on the treatment area. I mean, some people can see that dramatic difference after that first treatment. Others may take 2 or 3 treatments to get to their desired result. But we're going to see about a 22 to 25 or 26% fat loss or fat reduction with each treatment. Awesome, Maddie. You are so great.
Oh, that's a really common one because somebody's always preparing for something, whether they're getting ready for the summer, preparing for maybe a wedding or, an anniversary trip. So we really want to see you in at minimum 16 weeks before your big event. Okay. We really would prefer about 5 months in advance because we can get multiple treatments in, really get you ready for that big event, but at minimum about 16 weeks.
Yes, love that. Okay, and then one more question, and then we'll go on to our next winner. So is sculpture good for weight loss?
So sculpture, that's a great question actually, because I get that a lot. Sculpture does not replace a healthy diet and exercise by any means. Sculpture is great for those stubborn areas. So people like Scott who are very physically fit, very physically active, you want to maybe contour some area that you're not seeing that result that you're looking for, sculpture is a great treatment for that. But if you're wanting to lose those pounds, we encourage that you start that regimen before coming in for sculpture so we really know what stubborn areas to treat.
Yes, absolutely. Great question. We're going to go ahead and do one more question and talk to Dr. Whitaker. Have a nice little interview. Just to answer any of those additional questions that we got in the chat. So, Dr. Whitaker, we talked a little bit about semen, so let's talk more about fillers. One of the questions was, how do I know what filler is best for me?
Well, that's a great question. And it's really something that I work on with you in terms of trying to decide what's the best option. Because different fillers last different lengths of time or are best used in certain locations. So it's going to be a consult of us discussing that and deciding which is the best option for that area. Also wanted to, apologize that some of you can't hear us with the masks on, but we're only taking them off when we're socially distancing because we want to make sure everybody's safe. That's one of our #1 concerns here, to have a safe face and body.
It is a safe and body.
So we apologize if you haven't been able to hear everybody clearly, but I know you understand in these times. But go ahead with another question, Scott.
Yes, absolutely. So we just got this one in. Can a filler be removed if I don't like it?
Well, yes, filler can be. There's certain fillers that we can dissolve. And probably the most commonly used filler is hyaluronic acid, which is a naturally occurring substance in the skin that's synthetically produced. And that can be dissolved if someone didn't like it for some reason. Obviously, that's not what we're going for, but if there was ever a problem with it, it could be dissolved. So that's a great question.
Awesome. Another question would be, does it hurt to get fillers?
There's a little bit of discomfort. I mean, it is a needle, but we go through lots of steps to try to minimize that. We put on some topical numbing in the area, and that minimizes anything you're going to feel. There's numbing actually in the filler mixed with it. So that makes it more comfortable. We use a little vibration device like you saw when we were doing the Xeomin, which kind of helps take the edge off as well, so that we can make it as comfortable an experience as possible.
Awesome. And then we just got another question. Can fillers be used in the body?
They can, and different fillers are used there for different purposes, but people want some volume in different areas, like the buttock is very popular. There is now off-label hyperdilate use of certain fillers like Radiesse that we can use for collagen stimulation, which can be beautiful in the décolletage and the neck to help stimulate and smooth the appearance of the skin. So absolutely, we can utilize them off-label for some body options.
Awesome. And then another question would be, my lips are naturally thin. Can I still get filler?
Filler is always going to help with volume, and what's great about filler is we can do it in a way that's going to be very subtle, or we can do it in a way that's really going to plump the lip up significantly. So a lot of that is filler choice, and that's one of the things that I talk with someone about to really understand what they want, whether they want a subtle conservative lip that's going to look just like a little lip liner, just a little more plush, or whether they really want a significant increase in volume.
Awesome. You are such a wonderful doctor. We've talked a lot about oral therapy. Okay, so let's answer a few questions about that really quick. So, how does oral therapy make my skin tight?
Well, it's giving a lifting effect to the deeper layers And then it's also going to be stimulating collagen in the dermis of the skin. So it's a multi-layer treatment that we're doing, and you're targeting the energy at more than one level of the skin. But one of those levels is where it's going to stimulate collagen and help to smooth the texture of the skin.
Awesome. And then what's the downtime for old therapy?
Really, there's no downtime. When I get it, I go right about my day afterwards, which is what's great about it. You will have a little perception that something's been done when you touch it, perhaps for a couple of weeks, but it's not anything that's going to hurt or you're going to feel. So it really is a no downtime treatment, and it takes a little time to see the results because it's stimulating your own collagen to evolve. So you're really going to see the results around about 6 to 12 weeks, and then it continues to actually improve beyond that.
Awesome. And then if you could just pair one treatment with old therapy, if you could only choose 2 treatments, what would that be?
If I could only choose 2 treatments, it would have to be my old therapy, and then it would have to be my Xeon. Sure I don't have the frown.
I love it. Okay, and then we're just going to talk a little bit about CO2 because I know we had some questions about that.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about how CO2 works exactly.
Well, CO2 is a laser, and it creates little microtunnels in the skin, and it's going to remove that damaged skin from that little microtunnel, and it's also going to heat the surrounding tissue. And that heat is also going to stimulate collagen. So if you're healing with brand new collagen, you're getting heating to stimulate some newer, healthier, more youthful collagen. And that's how it helps smooth the texture of the skin and help soften the fine lines and wrinkles.
So cool. And then with that, I'm assuming there's some downtime?
That there is some downtime. That typically takes about 5 to 7 days for the skin to heal. Then you're going to be, you got fresher, healed skin, so you're going to be a little pink, probably for a few weeks, but you can cover it up with makeup after a week typically. So a little bit of downtime, but big result.
Awesome. Usually the longer the downtime, the better the result.
They do tend to go hand in hand.
And what's the best time of year to use this treatment typically?
This is a great time of year for CO2 because we're going into the winter months, and you're not going to be out in the sun as much as we were in the summer. So it's probably our more popular time of year, which is one of the reasons I put it on the top 5 list this year.
Awesome, awesome. So we're going to wrap it up with a few more questions that we have in the chat right now. There's someone that just asked, I've looked at several practices and med spas. How do I know who to trust?
Well, I mean, there are lots of great places out there. I think focus on safety is important, particularly in these times. I think you want to make sure that if you're having injectables done or treatments done, that they have a doctor on site. I think that's important in case there are any issues that could arise, because all of these treatments have the potential to have some minor side effects, although that's pretty rare. And then a place that gives you a good feel, where you feel safe and comfortable. I think that's really what it comes down to.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then how do we request a virtual consultation?
How do we request a virtual consultation?
That would be a question for me. You're going to call the number 678-888-3223 extension 110.
Okay.
And that's when we request. Just ask for a virtual consult. We can do a FaceTime or a Zoom, whatever's more convenient for you, and give you a nice quick 15 to 20-minute consultation, and then meet the doctor after, or go ahead and schedule with the doctor right then and there.
Okay,
so that's
fantastic.
how. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up with one more question. What are we doing to maintain safety during this pandemic?
Well, we are practicing social distancing. We have all of our waiting spaces socially distanced. We have questionnaires that everyone answers before they come in. We take temperature of everyone before they come in, and that includes our staff every day. We also are typically having people wait in the car. We can call you in so you can come straight into your appointment. You don't have to interact with anyone else. So we're really trying to limit that interaction, keep that social distancing, wearing masks, and now that we're done, I'll put mine back on, because we really want you to be safe and have a great experience here at Atlanta Face and Body.
Awesome. So we did have a lot of questions. So just make sure that you guys know that if we didn't get to you, we will make sure to get to you guys with the additional questions, okay? Kiss goodbye for attending our amazing virtual open house. We adore you. Thank you for being a patient of Atlanta Face and Body. We are so excited for you guys to be able to take the opportunity to get these packages. So thanks so much and have a wonderful night and happy holidays, guys.